Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to be talking about Pathfinder 2 and reports from the very front lines of GenCon 2019. Alright, so specifically what we're talking about today is what is going on with the Pathfinder community now that Pathfinder 2 is published, is on shelves, and now that Paizo is in a situation where they are having to transition their community from Pathfinder 1 to Pathfinder 2. Now, this is an incredibly difficult task for Paizo, and the reason why is it is becoming increasingly clear that the vast majority of their players do not want Pathfinder 2, right? Pathfinder, and the reason why is Pathfinder 1 was specifically born from players who did not want to transition from Pathfinder 3.5 to Pathfinder 4.0. So it is arguable that the Pathfinder community is the community that is most resistant to actually taking a new version. And also be clear, Pathfinder's new version, I think so. Basically, D&D 4 came out in 2008 and went until 2014. So that means that we did not get a Pathfinder 2 for 11 years. 11 years, okay? That is a very long time to wait before you get a new edition, a new version, right? A new edition, right? So, what is happening? So, I have a PFF, a Pathfinder friend, right? Now, the trend that I have been seeing in the Pathfinder community, and by the way, I'm absolutely inviting your feedback. I'd really love to know what your experience is. Are you seeing the same thing on the ground that I'm seeing? So what I'm seeing is I know no less than I have a half a dozen very hardcore Pathfinder player friends, who has a table of 4 to 8 players, each who have been playing the game for 5 to 10 years, each of who own every single Pathfinder book, every single hardback Pathfinder book, right? And absolutely none of them have any intention of buying Pathfinder 2. Zero intention. And have no intention of transfer. So if you have, so that's just my local people, right? And I would, and I think it's a trend just because it's 100%, right? And so that's a thing, right? So my PFF, my Pathfinder friend, I asked my Pathfinder friend, hey, tell me about GenCon. What happened? And here is my Pathfinder friend's report from the front lines of GenCon 2019. My Pathfinder friend said that there is a major problem, and that is PFS, Pathfinder Society. Pathfinder Society is the organized play. My Pathfinder friend was very, very upset that Pathfinder Society has no transition plan right now for Pathfinder 1 to Pathfinder 2 for your Pathfinder Society characters, right? So my Pathfinder friend is part of the Pathfinder Society. My Pathfinder friend has, my PFF has helped to give feedback on PFS official content, adventures that are actually literally used to create official content for these Pathfinder Society events, right? Now, this is organized play. Dungeons & Dragons has one too. It's the Adventure, the AL, the Adventurers League, right? So, but Pathfinder Society, when you play these characters, you play through these pre-generated modules, and you are given this ability to. So essentially, you're given this ability to create your character, and then your character, it has these very set strictures on what can and can be done, but your Pathfinder character can be taken from table to table, right? So if you're following the rules, you can take this Pathfinder Society PF1 character and take it to any PF1 Pathfinder Society table, and it's essentially it's a standard Pathfinder character. Now, some of these people have been playing with these for years and have very powerful characters that have been built up through a system of play. And when they showed up at GenCon, right, in 2019, Paizo had a bifurcated PFS experience. It was cut in half, right? They had, and my PFF, my Pathfinder friend, told me that there was half the players were playing PF1 and about half the players were playing PF2. But all the PF2, virtually all the PF2 stuff was new people trying out a new game with a few dedicated dungeon masters who had a lot of goodwill for Paizo and were running these games for Paizo, right? And so what I am hearing on the ground is that very dedicated Pathfinder players who really like Pathfinder 2 are a purple unicorn. They are incredibly rare, and there just aren't that many of them. So that is definitely one of the things that we're seeing. And my PFF, my Pathfinder friend, said that there were a lot of very upset Pathfinder players, PF1 players, who see the writing is on the wall. There's no transition to bring those PF1 official Pathfinder Society characters and make them playable within Pathfinder 2, right? And you know, with the new Pathfinder 2 PFS bracket. So one, it's something that not a lot of people even want, but people were upset that there wasn't even a transition path. And then the other thing my Pathfinder friend told me was they said that specifically it is very clear that my Pathfinder friend said that they think that this year it was PF1 and PF2 for PFS, for Pathfinder Society, and they think next year it will be Pathfinder 2 only, and that it could be quite quick before Pathfinder 1 is pulled out of Pathfinder Society, right? That's conjecture, but this is a dyed-in-the-wool. This person traveled specifically to GenCon as their number one primary task of getting together with their Pathfinder friends and playing Pathfinder and under the Paizo umbrella, right? So you have all that, right? Now, what are some of the lessons that we can take away for what is happening with Paizo at the industry level? So one of the things I think is important to talk about is this new reality for companies, and this is we are seeing this in the tabletop role-playing game industry, and Paizo is one of the companies that's farthest out on this. But we see this in non-TRPG companies too, and that is companies that are profitable and sustainable, right? So right now, it is my very clear opinion that that Paizo is not making a ton of money. I think their best days are definitely behind them. There are absolutely no more celebration headlines saying Pathfinder is outselling Dungeons and Dragons. Those days are gone. We had that problem in Pathfinder when Dungeons and Dragons 4 was out. There was this brief period, and it was literally industry-wide headlines saying Pathfinder is now outselling Dungeons and Dragons. Those days are gone, and I think, but I don't think Paizo is in any way in any financial trouble. Now, why is that? Why is Paizo not in any financial trouble when they are selling a game that their players don't want? Well, there's a little bit of complexity, but I will explain it. So one of the things is they've done a lot of things to make sure that they are safe as a corporation, and I think it's really worth looking at, right? So one of the things they've done is they have scaled their staff down, right? So they run lean. All smart tabletop role-playing game companies run lean. They do not keep a lot of people on staff. They keep it down to a bare minimum. This is also done in tech companies. Startups run very lean as far as the number of employees. And that means when you're in these companies, you wear a lot of hats, right? Like you could be doing publishing work, you could be doing layout work, you could be even doing artwork when you have no business doing any of those things because you have to keep the staff lean. So I think Paizo has kept their staff lean. The other thing is Paizo, do not sleep on how innovative Paizo is in the industry work, right? They have done a tremendous job of making sure they have a lot of awesome products, right? So and they're really good at reskinning those products and making those products available in different ways that people will buy them, okay? So one of the things that Paizo has done is they have these tile map products that can be purchased for Dungeons & Dragons. Also, a lot of their miniatures are often purchased for Dungeons & Dragons. So they have made all of so almost every physical product that is made for Pathfinder that basically Paizo has been really careful to make sure it is absolutely available for Dungeons & Dragons players. And that has made them very financially sound, right? And so what do we now see with Paizo? We see a strong, viable, sustainable company, not a large one, okay? Let's not go too far, right? That can ignore the desires of its own player base, of its own fan base, its own buyer base, its own player base, its own game master base. That is truly incredible. It really is a very, very unique and weird situation, right? Very, very odd. But I am monitoring this Pathfinder 2 situation. I think it's one of the most interesting things that's happening right now in the tabletop role-playing game industry. It's really, really fascinating, right? Just because, it's really interesting to see at the tabletop level what happens when new versions come out, how communities respond to them, and then how companies respond to those communities. So that is a report from the front lines of GenCon 2019 for the emerging Pathfinder 2 community event, right? The overall series of events that are happening around Pathfinder 2. Thank you for letting me share this information with you today. Please let me know what your experience is with, do you know any Pathfinder 1 groups who have been playing for 5+ years, own all the books, and are like, woo, I'm so excited that Pathfinder 2 is here? I'd love to hear if you do. Let me know. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.